welcome to Vedantu NCERT Solutions 11th and 12th. I'm Anchana, your biology master teacher, and today we are going to discuss the question from the chapter called Locomotion and Movement, in which the first question: draw the diagram of a sarcomere of skeletal muscle showing different region. We need to draw the diagram of a sarcomere. Okay, so let's draw the sarcomere, but before that, what is the sarcomere is made up of? There are two protein fibrils which helps in the formation of sarcomere, right? What are those things? Two sarcomere proteins, that is actin and myosin, right? Actin and myosin. This actin and myosin is arranged in a form to make a sarcomere. Okay, so let's discuss how this actin and myosin is arranged. Okay, so the actin is present. There are two set of actin which is present on either side of the sarcomere. Okay, the myosin is present at the center. Okay, the myosin is present at the center. Yes, so this region, okay, so this region where the actin filament is present, this particular region containing a band, a line. Okay, so this line is known as Z line. Okay, so and the region where only actin filament, this particular region where only actin filament is present, so this is known as I band. This is known as I band. So the region where both actin and myosin is present, see, from here to here, actin is also present, myosin also present. This particular region is known as A band. This is known as A band, and where we can find only myosin. This particular region, right? So this particular region containing only myosin, this is known as H zone. Okay, this is H zone. At the center of the H zone, okay, so this particular region is known as M line. This is known as M line. So between two Z line, one sarcomere is present. So this is the structure of a sarcomere. Clear, right? Okay, let's see the diagram of the sarcomere. See, this is one Z line. This is another Z line. Between these two Z line, there is a sarcomere. Yes. Okay, so this is the actin filament where only actin filaments are present. This is known as I band, and actin and myosin both are present. This is known as A band. Where only myosin are present, this is known as H band. Okay, so this is the structure of a sarcomere. Okay, define sliding filament theory of a muscle contraction. Okay, what do you mean by sliding filament theory? The muscle fiber, that means actin and myosin, right? So that is the muscle fiber contraction. Muscle fiber contraction occur due to the sliding of the thin filament over thick filament. Okay, so what happens here? See, this is thin filament, right? So where only actins are present. See here the thick filament. Yes, so the sliding of thin filament, that means the thin filament, length of the thin filament decreases and thick filament increases. Okay, so length of the thick filament increases. This is known as sliding filament theory. Yes. Question number 3. Describe the important step in muscle contraction. Okay, so what are the steps involved in muscle contraction? The muscle contraction is initiated by, who is initiating muscle contraction? The central nervous system. Okay, the central nervous system. Okay, central nervous system through the motor neurons. Through the motor neuron, they give information, right? So they give motor cells carrying the information, and it reaches to the end of the motor cell. Okay, so and At the end of the motor cell, there is a muscle cell, right? So between these two, there is a junction, right? At the end of the motor cell and the beginning of the fibrils, there is a small gap. So that is known as neuromuscular junction. Neuromuscular junction. At the neuromuscular junction, the motor cell is going to release a chemical. That chemical is known as acetylcholine. Okay, it is known as acetylcholine. Yes, so this acetylcholine released to the sarcoplasm. Okay, released into the sarcoplasm. This sarcoplasm, hence the sarcoplasm activated. Okay, action potential generated in the sarcolemma. Okay, sarcolemma. The cytoplasm of the sarcomere is known as sarcolemma. Okay, so action potential is generated in the sarcolemma. Hence, the sarcolemma increases its calcium ion concentration. That means the sarcoplasmic reticulum releases the calcium ion into the sarcoplasm. Okay, so the sarcoplasm containing more amount of calcium ion. Okay, this calcium ion will bind to tropomyosin. Okay, sorry, troponin. Yes, so this calcium ions bind to troponin of actin. Okay, troponin of actin, so that there is a mask. Okay, in the actin filament, there is a mask which is covered. That particular region is known as active site for myosin. Okay, active site for myosin. That mask is removed. So due to the calcium ion, due to the calcium ion binding to troponin, the mask, what happens? Masking of active site of myosin. Active site of myosin in the where exactly? In the actin filament. Okay, so after that, what happens? This in case of actin filament, right? After that, we are going to discuss about the myosin. What happens in the myosin? So the myosin will bind to, the myosin is bind to actin filament. So the head of the myosin is bind to which one? Actin filament. Okay, so this is the myosin, it bind to actin filament. During this particular time, it uses a ATP molecule and form hydrolysis. Okay, and form hydrolysis. Yes, so by using this ATP molecule, this particular energy, this head of the myosin slide the actin filament towards the center. Okay, so the actin move towards the center. Clear? So let's see the diagram. See what happens? The calcium, when the calcium ion increases in the sarcoplasm, what happens? The actin filament is unmasked, right? So due to that, the myosin is going to attach to the actin filament. So already actin filament is attached to the myosin filament. This is known as cross bridge. Okay, once it is attached, what happens? It will slide the actin filament towards the center by utilizing a ATP molecule. Okay, once it is slide, okay, already it is slide, no? So once this actin myosin contraction happened, what happens? The ATP currency is already utilized, so that this cross bridging remove. Okay, so the head of the myosin will detach from the actin filament, and this head is attached to a fresh ATP molecule. So this is known as sliding filament theory. What happens? See, once the cross bridge happened, and sliding is done, what happens? The actin filament to move towards the center, hence the contraction happens. When there is no calcium ion, the relaxation is going to happen. So this is known as sliding filament theory. Clear, right? Okay, write true or false. If false, change the statement so that it is true. Okay, first one is actin is present in the thin filament. Is this right or wrong? Actin is present in the thin filament. So the thin filament is known as I band, right? So this is true. Yes? Okay, next one. H zone of striated muscle fiber represent both thick and thin filament. Is this true? No, right? This H zone containing only myosin. Only myosin, right? Only myosin. Myosin means what? Only myosin means only thick. No thin filament is present there. Okay, so this is false. This is false. In H zone, we can find only myosin. Okay, next one. Human skeleton has 206 bone. This is true. This is true. Yes, next one. There are 12 pairs of ribs in man. How many pairs of ribs are present in human? It is 12. Okay, 12. Actually, this statement is wrong. The right answer is 12. Next, sternum is present on the ventral side of the body. Sternum, where the sternum is present, the flat bone. Where this flat bone is present? On the thoracic region, right? On the thoracic region, there is a flat bone that is known as sternum. Okay, so this is true. Yes? Okay. Write the difference between actin myosin, red and white muscle, pectoral and pelvic girdle. Okay, let's see. First one, that is actin and myosin. Actin is a thin contractile protein, but myosin is thick one, right? It is present in the light band, that is I band. It is also known as isotropic band. Actin filament is present in the I band. The I band is also known as isotropic band. Myosin is thick band and it is dark in color. Okay, when we look under microscope, it shows a dark band, and this dark band is known as A band. Okay, it is known as A band. It is also known as anisotropic band. Okay, it is also known as anisotropic band. So actin has smooth surface because only actin is present. Okay, but myosin is rough surface because the myosin containing head also. Okay, head and the tail, right? So head region show a rough surface to it. Okay, next, it does not form cross bridge. Actin does not form cross bridge, but head of the myosin cause cross bridge. Okay, next one. It consists of troponin and tropomyosin. Troponin and tropomyosin is the additional protein which is present only in actin, but in myosin there is no such things. It is made up of meromyosin. Okay, myosin is made up of meromyosin. Yes? Okay, so this is the difference between actin and myosin. Okay, next one. The difference between red muscle fiber and white muscle fiber. What are the difference between these two? Let's see. Red muscle fiber are thinner and smaller than the white muscle fiber. So, white muscle fiber is thick and larger in size. Okay. Next, they are red in color because they possess large amount of myoglobin. Okay, so red muscle is dark red in color, but white muscle is white in color. Why? Because the myoglobin is less in white fibrils. Okay, white muscle fibrils. Next, red muscle having more mitochondria. Okay, white muscle having comparatively less mitochondria. Yes. Next, they carry out slow rate of contraction. Okay, they carry out a slow rate of contraction for a longer period. Red muscle causes a longer period of contraction, but white muscle causes faster rate of contraction, but duration is very less. Okay, contraction duration is very less. They provide energy. Red muscle fiber provided by energy by aerobic respiration, but in white muscle it is anaerobic respiration. Okay, so the red muscle fiber is more in athletics than the normal man. Okay, so this is the difference between red and white muscle fibers. Okay, so next one is pectoral girdle and pelvic girdle. So pectoral girdle is situated in the shoulder. So in this particular region, okay, so this particular region containing pectoral girdle, where this pelvic girdle is present in the hip region. Okay, pelvic girdle is present in the hip region. Okay, it composed of bones called clavicle. Clavicle means beauty bone. Here we can find a bone, right? So this bone is known as beauty bone, right? So collar bone or clavicle. And scapula. Scapula is present dorsal side. It is triangle shaped bone. Okay. Next, pelvic girdle containing 3 bones: ilium, pubic, ischium. Okay. 3 bone. Ilium, pubic and ischium. Okay, these are the bones present in the pelvic girdle. Okay, so it helps in articulation of upper limb. That means the upper limb is attached to pectoral girdle, the lower limb. So that means our leg is attached to the pelvic girdle. Okay, it performs function like lifting and holding. And pectoral girdle helps in walking, standing, jumping, running, etc. Okay, so these are the difference between pectoral and pelvic girdle, right? Match the column 1 with column 2. Okay, let's see what are the correct pair. Okay, so smooth muscle, myoglobin, thin filament, sutures, involuntary. Okay, smooth muscle causes involuntary muscle contraction. Okay, so next, tropomyosin. Tropomyosin is present. Where exactly this tropomyosin is present? It is in the actin filament or thin filament. Okay, red muscle present in myoglobin. So in the red muscle there are more myoglobin. Okay, next, skull having sutures. Okay, skull having sutures. Yes. Okay, so these are the correct answer for this particular question. Yes. What are the different types of movement exhibited by cell of human body? So our body show different kinds of movement. Let's see what are the movement. The first one is known as amoeboid movement. Amoeboid movement. So amoeboid movement is shown by which cell shows amoeboid movement? Amoeboid movement showed by leukocytes and macrophages. Sorry, macrophages. Yes, so these two cells actually show the amoeboid movement. That means pseudopodia kind of movement, and it is actually present in this leukocyte and macrophages. They both are present in blood. Okay, they both are present in blood or lymph, but it moves towards the injured part when there is a damage or injury occur in particular region, any particular region of the body. It moves towards that particular region and causes immune response. Okay, so and causes immune response. Second one is known as ciliated or ciliary movement. So ciliated movement, where exactly we can find ciliated movement? In the movement of egg and sperm shows ciliated movement. See, this is the uterus of the human. Okay, so here the ovary is present. The ovary ovary releases the ovum. This ovum is carried by fallopian tube. In the fallopian tube, we can find many cilia. Okay, so ciliated cell will be present. This ciliated cell allow this ovum move towards the uterus. Okay, so this ciliated cells show oscillatory movement so that this ovum enter into the uterus. Okay, next one, third one is known as muscular movement. Okay, muscular movement by the action of actin filament and myosin filament, they show contraction and relaxation so that we can move from one place to another place. Okay, so these are the three types of movement shown by human body. Yes. How do you distinguish between a skeletal muscle and cardiac muscle? What are the difference between skeletal muscle and cardiac muscle? Let's see. Linked to primary bone. Skeletal muscle is linked to primary bone. Okay, so it is directly attached to the bone. But cardiac muscle is not present in skeletal system. It is not present on the skeletal system. It is present in the heart. Okay, so cardiac muscle present on the wall of heart. Yes, so skeletal muscle show voluntary in nature. That means when we are thinking that we have to move from one place to another place, we are moving. So that is voluntary. When we can stop, when we are thinking we have to stop, we can stop it. But cardiac muscle is involuntary in nature. That means we cannot stop the working of the cardiac muscle. Okay, next one, peripherally located nucleus. So it is the nucleus is present at the peripheral region, but in cardiac muscle, centrally located nucleus is present. Next, muscle fibers of skeletal muscle are unbranched. So skeletal muscle containing unbranched muscle fibers, but here branched muscle fibers are present. Next, intercalated disc are not found in the muscle fiber of the skeletal muscle, but here we can find intercalated disc. Okay, next, brings about locomotion action of the body. So locomotion, we can this skeletal muscle helps in locomotion from by which we can move from one place to another place. But cardiac muscle is responsible for heartbeat. Right, responsible for heartbeat. It show only the movement, no locomotion. Okay, so this is the difference between skeletal muscle and cardiac muscle. Okay, question number 9. Name the type of joint between the following. Okay, let's see what are the joints between atlas and axis. Between atlas and axis, we can find pivot joint. Okay, pivot joint. This atlas and axis is present behind our neck. Okay, so the dorsal side of our neck, which containing atlas and axis. So this two bones are joined by means of pivot joint. Okay, next one, carpal and metacarpals of thumb. So carpals, so this is the carpal and this is the metacarpals. Between these two we can find saddle joint. Okay, next, between phalanges. So between these phalanges, that means digits. Okay, between the digits we can find hinge joints. Which joint? Hinge joint. Femur and acetabulum. Femur means this particular area containing femur bone. Acetabulum is present in the which bone? That is pectoral girdle. Okay, between pectoral girdle and the hand, okay, there is a joint. That joint is known as ball and sockets. Okay, between the cranial bones are skull containing which kind of? Fibrous fibrous joint, okay, between pubic bone and pelvic girdle. Pubic bone and pelvic girdle. In our hip region, we can find these bones. Okay, here we can find cartilaginous joint. Okay, cartilaginous joint. Okay, so these are the joint between the vertebrae or between the skeletal system. Okay, fill the blanks spaces. Okay, all mammal except a few have dash cervical vertebra. How many cervical vertebra are present? How many it is? That is 7. Cervical vertebrae are present. Okay, next, the number of phalanges in each limb of the human. So these are the phalanges. How many phalanges are present? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 phalanges. What phalanges are present in the limb, on each limb. Okay, thin filament of myofibril consists of 2F-actin and 2 other proteins, namely, so 1 myofibrils, okay, 1 myofibrils containing 2F-actin, along with 2F-actin, 2 other proteins also present, that is tropionin and tropomyosin. Tropomyosin. Okay, tropomyosin. Yes. Okay, next one. In a muscle fiber, calcium plus 2 is stored in. Where exactly this calcium ion is stored? In the, where exactly? That is sarcoplasmic reticulum. Okay, sarcoplasmic reticulum. Okay, next one. Dash and dash pairs of ribs are called floating ribs. So what do you mean by floating ribs? So the ribs which is joined at the dorsal surface, but it is not joined at the ventral surface. So dorsal surface is joined to the vertebral column, but in the front it has to attach to the which area? Sternum. But two rib which do not attach to the which area? Sternum. That is known as floating ribs. So the 11th and 12th pair of ribs are known as floating ribs. Okay, next one. The human cranium is made up of human cranium or head containing how many bones? That is 8 bones. 8 bones are present. So this is about the chapter called Locomotion and Movement. Hope you have understood each and every concept. So in case any doubt, please comment below. So if you don't have any doubts or something, please like our like our video, subscribe to our channel, and also share to your friends. Thank you all. Bye bye.